Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is AJ. I'm a game developer, and today I'm going to be showing off some of the progress that I've made for my senior capstone project, Maiden, which is a Metroidvania-style platformer game where you control a character named Penny as you burrow through the ground to explore a big interconnected world. So today, what I'm going to be showing off is some of the gameplay elements that I have programmed so far, what's functioning and what's not functioning, and go into a little bit more detail about what are my goals going into the month of June. So yeah, with that said, let's also talk about the date here really quick. Today is May 26th, 2021. My senior capstone doesn't really start until when I get back to school in April. But because of how complicated Maiden is and because I've never really made a game like this before, or a character controller this complex before, I wanted to make sure that I started the pre-production as early as I possibly could to give myself enough time to, really make a really good level and space everything out and get the pacing right and give myself some time for, enemy AI and all that other kind of stuff. So with that said, let's jump into some of the gameplay. All right, so here I have the game running in Engine, and we're going to go ahead and hit play here and just kind of like show off some of what's going on here. Most of this art, most of if not all the art in here is all placeholder stuff just to help me test the functionality of everything. Except for Penny. Most of Penny's art is pretty much there, except for some of her jumping and a few of some other animations, but it's just kind of, right now the animations are more focused on being readable and understandable rather than being polished and fluid. So, let's go ahead and get started here. So here we have Maiden running at a nice smooth 60 frames per second, just the way we like it. Penny can go up slopes, and she can go down slopes. She can jump very high, and this jump is dynamic depending on how long I hold the A button down for, or the jump button in equivalence. We can also make our way down here and load into different scenes when we touch different loading triggers. So here we are in a different cave, and let's make our way maybe down here to find a secret. Oh my goodness. So right now we can see that we can press B to interact, but if we switch over to keyboard, we can push the E key to get our brand new ability. So right now I have support for every single major controller. You can play this game with Xbox controller, you can play it with the PlayStation controller, you can play it with the PS5 controller, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, you can play it with the Google Stadia controller if you're one of the couple thousand out there who play on Google Stadia. Hi everybody, you're an enigma to me and I really want to meet you. So we just picked up the dash, and this dash was kind of inspired by the dash in Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's a nice dash that we can push the Y button to like dash backwards and basically get out of the way of an incoming attack that may be coming straight at us, because one of Maiden's goals is to be a game that's very boss focused, while also being a game that's very adventure focused. Very big inspirations for me were the Pokemon franchise, because I grew up playing those games, and so there's the structure of the story follows a very similar path to Pokemon. You leave home, you go and you fight some gym leaders basically, and then you fight the Pokemon League champion at the end. And that's just kind of like the basis that I wanted to do to give Penny her motivation to go out and see the world. But the hijinks that ensues and the gameplay and the moment-to-moment thing is more focused on creating a character that feels fluid and very good to control, and is also very fun to explore the world. It's not focused on like monster collecting or anything like that. Coming over here, we have some new mechanics to show off. These yellow cubes up here are stable stone. Stable stone helps affect Penny's endurance, basically. Up here we have a dizzy meter, and we haven't seen it yet, but when we start drilling into the ground, Penny's dizzy meter will go down, and when it depletes, she'll lose some health, and a little bubble pops up, and she has to wait until she regains her bearings. When you start the game, this bar will deplete very quickly, but as you explore the world, you'll be able to pick up stable stone, and each time you pick up stable stone, it basically increases the amount of time that you can burrow in the ground before getting dizzy, which is useful because we'll see later with like the dash, your dizzy bar can deplete very quickly, and there will be, you know, some long stretches of land that you will need to cover before you have to resurface or whatever. Pushing the B button here, we can grab a new ability. This is the Rocket Overcharge. The way the Rocket Overcharge works is if we hold down the right trigger, we'll charge up, and when we let go, we will launch into one of 180 directions until we make contact with the wall. So holding down the right trigger and holding a direction and releasing allows me to launch in one of 180 degrees, and that's really cool. And it's really, really fun to just kind of like rocket overcharge down a long hallway all the way to the end. That's just a lot of fun. It's really, really cool. Making our way over here, we can finally show off the main mechanic of Mole Maiden, which is the drilling. Mole Maiden's moment-to-moment gameplay was inspired by Ori and the Blind Forest's swimming mechanic. I really liked swimming in there and swimming around at 360 degrees, and I thought that would be a really, if you did it in the ground for like drilling, that would be a really, really cool traversal technique for a Metroidvania game. And apparently Moon Studios thought the exact same thing because they did it in Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Just a coincidence, I'm afraid. Hi Moon Studios, I love you guys. So if we hold down the right bumper, we can aim in 360 degrees, and we will launch at the end of a timer in that direction, or we can just push it and let go immediately because we've already held the direction to launch in that direction. So if we drill into the floor, we won't go through the floor, because why would you want to do that? But if we drill into soft soil, we can see that we have a nice little trail effect, and we can burrow into the ground. Another cool thing is that if we are going in one direction and we push the opposite direction immediately, Penny will do a nice 180 degree U-turn to help it make it look like so she's not, you know, drilling back into ground that she's already drilled before. And this carries over into movement. Her movement is very tight, and she won't ever like drill on top of each other. There will always be like a nice little trail, and you know, there's always like that round curve for her to go around. If we make our way up over here though, we have the bad guy. So if we hit him, our health bar will deplete a little bit. We have like 6 hits here. If we whack him though, you can see we're filling up a little health meter thing on the top there. This is something that's similar to Hollow Knight, but also a little bit similar to Hyperlight Drifter. So when my bar is full, if I hit the left bumper, I get all of my health back right away. And this is to kind of help encourage players to play more aggressively, because I want them to be able to get in and make hits, and then also to save them in an instant should they be in a bind. It's very quick. You don't have to sit around. You don't have to wait to get your health back. You just get it right back away, and I really, really like that. Drilling in the ground long enough will make Penny dizzy, and if that happens, there's a nice little bubble that shows up, and oh, that's a bug. Okay, now I actually have to restart the game. Okay, making our way downtown over here, we have the double jump. And the double jump are basically a set of rocket boots. So these will help Penny jump twice as high, and give her a lot of mobility and make backtracking a lot easier. Double jumping was something that I went back and forth with originally, because with the coil and the launch, that is kind of like its own double jump. The thing is coil and launching does take a little bit of time, and I've actually found that using the double jump in traversal is a lot more intuitive, and people actually really like to have it there. And you can even play with things like a triple jump now that you have the double jump. In addition to the double jump or rocket boots, when you're in the ground, since you have like those thrusters beneath you, you can hit the A button to do a cool little dash and attack with enemies. And that's really, really, really fun. Ooh. Okay, that was interesting. So yeah, that is Mole Maiden in its current form. So going into the month of June, what exactly are some of the goals that I have for this game? I think the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that Penny can stay in bounds of like ground when she's digging. With how she is programmed, I'm having a lot of difficulty having her detect her boundaries and then turn around immediately so she stays within those bounds. I'm almost there. I have the logic laid out. I just have to figure out how to make it turn on, basically. So that's kind of going to be the biggest one here. Let me open my Trello here really quick. So this is my Trello board for Maiden. This is where I'm doing all of my project management. The biggest thing that we have here that we want to have done by July 14th is all of Penny's player controls completely and entirely functional. Right now, my capstone is like, Maiden is going to be my senior capstone, and I have a year to work on it. But Maiden's character controller is a little bit complex and far bigger than anything I've ever programmed before in my life. So I want to make sure that working on this, I have enough time to do all the nitty-gritty stuff that I want to do. I have a big list of bug fixes that need to be taken care of here. You know, we have some bugs here, but I think for the most part, Penny is on pace to being done by July 14th, which is the deadline I gave myself. So that is Maiden in its current state right now. Thank you for tuning in to this small dev diary update, and I will see all of you in the next update thing. Okay, bye.